realized something. I will never be a mold. I do not fit into the cookie cutter. I will never be a fan, boy or girl, depending on how outrageous they are. I'm too alpha to be around betas, and I'm too alpha to be around alphas. So call me the omega. I will not conform for view. I will not defy my own opinion for clicks. And I will not big up those who deserve to be brought down. I will not pretend that fighters win fights that they lose because I can't. So the ever ongoing scale of gains and losses stays big on my channel. I gain just as many as I lose, so it looks that I stay stagnant. But I do not care because I can only be who I am, and that is me. And I can only speak my mind, and I will not go along to get along. See, I was over on a big channel a while back, and they were talking about a fighter that they were going to do an interview with, and I went against the narrative and spoke the truth. That channel took me down. Well, I actually fell off and they wouldn't let me back up. And they gave this speech about, until you make it, sometimes you just got to go with it. And I disagree. Gosh damn it, I disagree. Because like Leonidas, when he saw Xerxes, I got a cramp in my motherfucking leg and I can't bend over. Like Morpheus when he took Neo out of the Matrix for the first time and plugged them back in. I cannot walk with the crowd. I walk through it. I don't move my shoulder out the way. They get out of my way. So here I stand, all alone, just me, myself, and I, in my own lane. Because I do not fit any type of genre, from the way that I talk, from the way that I look, from the way that I carry myself. I am my own. I am unique. I am who I am, as it is said. But again, I will never, ever, ever, ever conform for a clique because that defeats the purpose of who I am. And with that being said, I'm going to kick off this live. We are talking about Lomachenko versus Ortiz. Now, I'm going to be honest. I have never seen Ortiz fight. I know he is a training partner of Lomachenko. He helped him get ready for Richard Comey. Let me hit the chat. What's going on, Sources Say? How are you doing? Good, I hope. Right now, I'm just driving in the car myself, headed back up to the A because I was out of town. But outside of that, this fight is interesting to me for one reason. Lomachenko may have a chink in his armor, and it might sound crazy what I'm about to say. But if you look at it, he lost to Salido in his second fight, going for a world title. Lost. Fast forward, he loses to Teofimo Lopez. Now, I don't have his box rec pulled up because I'm driving in my car, but how many good Spanish fighters has Lomachenko beat? Maybe that's his weakness. Maybe their style brings something that he's not good against. And maybe we could be in for an upset. I doubt it. I think Lomachenko is very good. But there is a possibility Ortiz may beat him because while Lomachenko did take the fight with Ortiz, you got to look on the flip side of that. Ortiz also took the fight with Lomachenko. And they were sparring partners. And the worst thing you could ever do is spar with somebody younger than you, who's hungrier than you, who's up and coming, because they learn you. And they understand what they're going to get in there against. It's almost like you're training your replacement on the job. You got to be careful with that. And could that be the case with Lomachenko? He went back to the Ukraine. We all know what's going on over there. And he's been out of the ring for a little while. He didn't look so good when he came back to the ring with a long layoff fighting Teofimo Lopez. It took him a good 6 rounds to get into the fight. 7th round he was on, but it took him all 6 to get there. Could it be another case to where Loma was out of the ring for way too long, and he's a little rusted, and he's going to be a little slow to start? Again, I've never watched Ortiz fight. I have not seen one. I should do my research, and I will before I do an official prediction. I watched the weigh-ins today. Both look good on the scale. Let me read the chat real fast because I see it starting to build up. Modern King, Ronald Finkley in the building. What's good? Tony's reviews, not much, just driving in the car. Zali, Tony, you ever do any stream watch parties for any fight? Yes, I have. In fact, Zali, to answer that question, the first copyright strike I ever got on my channel was doing a watch along. And I fought it, and it was denied. Even though I was doing live commentary over it, I was not playing the fight, just the fight, because that is stealing somebody's material. But I was talking over the fight, calling the blows of the fight, and scoring the fight. I made it to the third round. It was a Manny Pacquiao fight against Jeff Hort, and the stream got taken down. I got a warning. Because I got a warning on that copyright strike, and I fought it, now anytime that somebody flags me, it's automatic that I have to fight the strike, because the warning doesn't go away. You only get one warning, and then every one after that is a copyright strike, and then you have to fight. So I have done them before, but it's been a very long time because it left a bad taste in my mouth when I was showing people the fight. Now, there is another website that I can pull up to where everybody can watch it off of YouTube, but when I did that, it kind of defeated the purpose because nobody stayed on YouTube. Everybody was on the streaming site watching it with me, but nobody stayed on my main site. So even though I had like 50 people doing a watch along with me and typing in the chat over there, I only had like 3 on YouTube. So let me read what was wrote down. Somehow I missed everyone. Oh, never mind. I think I remember a Better Be live commentary. Oh, okay. If you're talking about, I was thinking about like rewatches. Yes. Zali, I do live blow-by-blow commentaries. I do those. Yes, I will. I've been very busy, so I haven't been able to do the live blow-by-blow commentary. I'm not going to toot my own horn, even though it's going to sound like it, but a lot of people have said that I'm a lot better than the commentators that are ringside, because I paint a picture. I tell you exactly what they're doing, exactly what punches being thrown, where they're at in the ring. Like, I talk very fast like an auctioneer when I do it. So, yes, I do it. I need to do it more often, but I'm not always to where I can. If I'm at the house and I can get on the computer, I can do it. But if I'm like out and I got the cell phone, it makes it a lot more difficult because I can't really watch the fight and commentate on the fight as easily. Let me get back. Yeah, it's a catch-22. Got Loma by unanimous decision. So I'm going to say this about Lomachenko. Lomachenko is coming off of 2 stoppages wins. And I'm saying 2, not 1, because we all know Lomachenko could have knocked out Richard Comey. It was as clear as day that he let off the gas and let Comey survive. It's as clear as day that he didn't want to finish him because he thinks he's a nice guy, which makes no sense. Direct everybody to this. This is my number 1 evidence. In all of Lomachenko's fights, when has he ever looked at a corner to stop the fucking fight? Not once, never. Never. Has he ever looked to a corner to stop the fucking fight? And he did that with Comey. Not only did he do that with Comey, but he quit attacking him with combinations. Combinations. He let off the gas so he could survive. Nakatani, he stopped him. He should have stopped Comey. So he's coming off the 2 stoppages wins, in my opinion, even though he only has 1 on the record books. Ortiz, I don't know anything about him. I really don't. Being that I am driving, I'm going to drop the link in the chat in case anybody wants to talk. If y'all seen Ortiz fight, hop on here and tell me about it. Because, again, I have not done my due diligence to do research on him. But let me try to do this real fast. Try not to wreck on this highway while I come here, copy and paste this, copy Let me post this real fast in case anybody wants to hop on. What's going on, Three Pumps? How you doing tonight? Tony, you think Boots is the real deal? Oh, man, we could talk about this. We could talk about this. So, Boots it is. Now, I'm going to say this, and this is where I'm talking about that, like, I don't fit into any groups. That's why I affiliate with nobody. Yeah, I'll be cool with people. Yeah, I go to different, I guess you could say, panels that may affiliate with certain groups, but I by no means am affiliated to anybody. I go and come like I want, like a feather caught in the wind. I just blow around in the breeze. But here's the thing. When it comes to Boots Ennis, this is what I do not understand. People big up Boots Ennis highly, but he's fought weaker competition at welterweight than Terrence Crawford has, and people like to say Terrence Crawford is no good because he ain't fought nobody. I don't understand. The best win that Boots has is probably Van Herten. Now, I give Boots all the credit. Well, it wasn't a win. It was a no contest. But he was beating him. I will say this about Boots. In my opinion, what Boots was doing to Van Herten looked a lot better than what Conor Benn did, even though Conor Benn got the stoppage. Because Boots wasn't getting hit by punches like Conor Benn was when he was fighting him. So, I think Boots has potential, but he really hasn't fought anybody of any quality, in my opinion. I know he just called for the mandatory to fight Earl Spence Jr., so Earl Spence has got two people that he's got to fight. Boots Ennis now and Stanionis. Which one will he fight? I do not know because he could fight either, being that they're both mandatory. But as far as the eye test goes, Boots looks very good, but it's not hard to look good against low opposition. In my opinion, in my honest, true opinion, I think the best welterweight at the welterweight division for the young guys is a guy named Rashidi Ellis. You never hear people talk about Rashidi Ellis, but I believe he is the best one. I believe he is the next champion. I believe he'll be undisputed at 147. I don't think anybody can beat Rashidi out of all the young guys. Let me continue with the chat. Bear with me, guys, because I am driving. Did I not post the link? Okay, I did. Young no slouch. Young and no slouch. Lomachenko, power to get him out of there is what I question. I looked at Verdejo fight versus Nakatani. If Youngin can be durable, it's going the distance. Let me see. My girl watching the movie. Nah, you good? You good? Oh, shit, I'm swerving, trying to read. Motherfucker. We are switching lanes without meaning to. No blinker. All right, let me read these couple of comments and then get back to this. Crawford in top rank, stable. No, he left top rank. Why? I don't know why folks think the end all be all of Kappa trash. Hold on one second. Exactly. Rashidi versus Boots. That's the fight I want to see. Rashidi versus Boots. Or Ortiz. You could throw Victor Ortiz in there as well. Let him fight one of those two guys. Because to me, the best looking young guys at welterweight was Roca, who Rashidi beat. Roca in turn beat Blair the Flair Cobbs, who I like, but he beat him on short notice. So Rashidi's already standing out ahead. Unfortunately for Rashidi, he was gone for 2 years due to promotional issues. So now that he's back, had a fight, hopefully the PBC keeps him active. But anyways, as far as Lomachenko goes, Lomachenko's got a good bit of pop on his punches. And he's very precise. It's his precision that makes it so nice. He's very precise with how he lands and how he steps around people. It's just, he's a 3 division champion. He's in his 3rd weight class. These bigger guys have tend to show him issues. He's no longer looked like the Matrix since he's been up there at 135. And the thing about it is what is the end goal? He fights Ortiz and then Devin Haney? Is Devin even going to remain at 135 for him to fight? I don't know. I know Top Rank, they've got Devin for one more fight under contract, and they can pretty much tell him who he's going to fight. Now, if Devin says, I can't make 135, I highly doubt they could force him to fight Lomachenko. So I don't know what Bob Arum's going to do with Devin Haney, and I don't know what Lomachenko's route is to undisputed if Devin Haney vacates, because then it becomes hard again. Then you got to pick up all the belts one by one, and that takes time. I mean, to be honest, if I was Lomachenko, knowing that all the top dogs now from 135 are moving up to 140, and then you have Shakur Stevenson coming into 135, he might as well go for his 4th title. If Devin moves up, move up with Devin and fight him at 140. If he can beat Devin at 140, I would call for the rematch against Tio at 140. Get your loss back against Tio at 140, and then you know in that meantime, Josh Taylor is going to vacate them belts and go after somebody who picks up those belts. Well, he's already vacated 2, but we know Josh Taylor's not going to be there much longer. So I think for Lomachenko, if Devin moves up, he should move up with him and fight him at 140. I think that's his best bet. Because if Devin vacates, he's not going to get undisputed for a very long time anyway. And then, you know, what builds a legacy? Is it being undisputed, or is it the names on your record? Because there's many fighters we can name, but there's not many fighters we can name and name the fight they won undisputed in. But we can name all the guys they beat, but we don't know what belts off the top of our head they won from this guy or that guy. What guy they got undisputed with. There's very little people who know that. So, examples, recent history. Who did Lennox Lewis beat for undisputed? Who did Holyfield beat for undisputed? Who did Mike Tyson? Well, I mean, those are easy right there. Who did Mike Tyson beat for undisputed? And the list can just go all the way down. Like, a lot of people don't know. So while undisputed sounds great, what is better? Winning all the titles or beating all the big names of the division? It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. Because when you're undisputed, without a doubt, you are the best in your weight class. There is no question of that. You are the guy on top. You have all the titles. There's no getting around that. Like right now, currently, Devin Haney is number 1. I don't care if people feel like Lomachenko can beat him. I don't care if people feel like Shakur Stevenson can beat him. They're not number 1 over him because he has all the titles. However, if you look at resume, if you look at legacy, while Devin is still young, I'm just saying, comparable, you cannot compare Devin Haney's legacy to Lomachenko because he lacks the names. So if they were both to retire today, Loma would be a Hall of Famer over him due to names, quality of opposition, even though Devin is number 1 in his division. Now, again, it's unfair because Devin's really young and he's got a lot of time to move. That's why I don't like talking about Hall of Famers while they're still actively fighting. That's why I don't like talking about fighters potentially being one of the best ever. They're still actively fighting because if they're actively fighting, they actively have time to fuck up their record. You could be 15-0 and then take 6 losses in a row after that. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know where they're going to end up. So you got to judge them truly off the end of their career and not the middle of their work. But again, the topic of this, though, was Ortiz versus Lomachenko. Who wins? Loma, in my opinion, ever since he lost to Teofimo Lopez, he looks like he's got a type of fire in his eye that he hasn't really had for a very long time. Loma almost got too comfortable with his own success. And I think that was an issue too when he fought Tio. He was too comfortable being able to style on people, dance around them, have nobody impose their size and their will on him, that when it happened to him, he folded. Kind of. Because I thought the fight was a draw. I thought Loma clearly won the second round against Tio, and I clearly thought Tio won the 12th round. Lomachenko didn't let his hands go until the 7th round, but 7th to 11, I thought he won. Rounds 1, 3 through 6, I thought Tio won easily. I thought it was a draw. However, depending on how you score that second round, I can see Tio winning the fight. I have no problems with it. But again, when Lomachenko cannot style on you, does he win? He lost against Salido, who he could not style on. He lost against Teofimo Lopez, who he could not style on. So if this kid Ortiz, who has sparred with him, can keep him from styling, can Lomachenko win? I don't know, because I know nothing about Ortiz. I know absolutely nothing about him. I've never seen him fight one fight. I've never seen him train or spar one fight. Loma boxing clinch gonna happen. How good is Ortiz? What is Ortiz's best win? Has he beat anybody? I don't know. Again, I'm driving. I can't look up BoxRec. And I did this live spur in a moment, just to do it, just to go live. And to start off with what I said at the beginning of the video, because I find it funny how the sheep mentality is real. And in a world full of sheep, I'd rather be a wolf. I'm not following nobody, and I'm not following the crowd. Sheeps always have the numbers. But it doesn't matter how many sheeps come in numbers, they always lose the one wolf. That's all it takes. You could put 1 billion sheep in a field and one wolf, and that one wolf is going to slowly dismantle them billion sheep. So, in a YouTube community full of sheep, I'd rather be a wolf. That's right, Ronald Wolf. Oh, you picked Blair. You picked Blair against Maurice Hooker. Yo, Blair the Flair Cobb is not a bad fighter. He's not great. He's already in his early 30s, which is bad for somebody who's just really starting off boxing. But nowadays, you have more time. Nowadays, at 32 years old, 33 years old, you're not called a granddad. Nowadays, guys can fight up to their 40 years old. Hell, you got guys who fight into their mid-40s and still stay at the top. So, nutrition, science, health, and everything has improved so much that there's a lot more longevity. Not just that, the way that fighters train. Training in general in all sports has improved. You know what works. You know what hurts you. You got way more tools to recover. Hyperbolic chambers, ice tubs, heated tubs, etc. You got suction cups, acupuncture, which is thousands of years old. And for all those who do not believe in acupuncture, you have never had it done. I am a living testament. I can tell y'all, acupuncture works. It is the weirdest feeling when somebody is doing it to you, dropping the needle into the bed of the muscle. And once it hits, your muscle spasms out, starts twitching. However, and I'm not going to lie, a couple of them needles may hurt. But after you have the acupuncture sit there inside the muscle, they pull the needles out. For the next few days, you're good. All pain is gone, no matter how bad it was. So yeah, I think Blair the Flair still has time to be successful. Still has time to work on his craft. Yes, he got a loss to Roca, who, like I said earlier, got beat up by Rashidi Ellis, who I believe is the best welterweight. But here's the deal. I want to say this too. Let's come back around to our welterweight because we were talking about it in detour. There is nothing given that Terrence Crawford beats David Avanesian. Now, people could make the argument that David Avanesian lost the mean machine, and that is true. He got knocked out. However, David Avanesian is a very good boxer. Whether people like it or not, yes, I know he's got 3 losses, but he's also coming off a long chain of wins, and he also beat one of the biggest prospects at the welterweight division in England recently, Josh Kelly. So, while he does have losses, he's not a bad fight, and he's a dangerous fight. It's a dangerous fight. Anybody with any sense is going to say that Terrence is going to win. That's who I lean to. That's who I believe. But nothing in boxing is guaranteed. How many times have we seen the underdog pull out the upset? Look at Anthony Joshua. Lost to Andrew Ruiz. Look at Deontay Wilder. Although it was not an upset because Tyson Fury is arguably the best guy of this era. Still, both dudes were undefeated, could have fought, gave us the fight we wanted, they both lost. It's no longer the same. Same thing could happen. Errol Spence could be forced into fighting Boots Ennis and get the living dog shit beat out of him, and Boots just proved that he's that guy. He's that guy that everybody's built him up to be. Now Earl has a loss. Terrence Crawford, on some off chance, loses to David Avanesian. Now the mega fight at welterweight is ruined. It's over. It's done. We'll never get to see the 2 top dogs, undefeated for so long, fight each other because they marinated it for too long. And that's the problem with boxing. We do not get the fights we want to see when we want to see them. They want to stay in the kitchen. They want to keep putting seasoning on it until they season it for so long the meat's been out too long and now it's rotten. It's expired. It's spoiled. You're no longer going to want to eat it. And that's what they've been doing in boxing. That's why I say guys like Jake Paul are definitely good for boxing. You know why? Because boxing, due to the politics, is no longer a top 10 sport. It's no longer there. A guy like Jake Paul will bring you 1 million pay-per-view buys. That's eyes to the sport that never watched the sport before. People coming off of YouTube who watch these dumbass videos that I have never seen. They're coming to the sport. They're boosting up boxing. They're bringing revenue to boxing to make these promotional companies and whoever's doing the media for it want to actually put the fights on, stage them. So I think a guy like Jake Paul is good for boxing. And if I look at it like this, to be honest with you, if it wasn't for Jake Paul, we probably never would have got Shields Marshall because Clarissa tried to do a pay-per-view years ago. It flopped. I don't even know if it sold 40 pay-per-views. I know that's being harsh. And, yes, that is not the actual numbers they sold. But it did not sell. However, when Jake Paul promoted that fight with Amanda Serrano, who he signed, fighting Katie Taylor, now look what happened. Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall, finally fight. They didn't fight before because the pay was too small, according to them, or Marshall. Now they get the money that they were just owed, and we probably got the best female fight we've ever seen. You had Shields come out and just straight brawl with the knockout artist, claimed that she could not see from the 6th round on, and kept the hands going. It was a very competitive fight. Clarissa Shields' hardest fight, Savannah Marshall's hardest fight because she lost. But had it not been for Jake Paul getting the Katie Taylor fight done with Amanda Serrano, we may have never got that fight. Nobody would have ever paid for that to be on pay-per-view. It would have never been a main event. Now it is. So again, in a day where so many people are ducking and diving and dodging each other, Jake started the trend with the females. The best fought the best, and now it continues. Bumgarner, Mayer, the best fighting the best. Shield, Savannah, the best fighting the best. If only the men would follow suit. If only the men would follow the female boxers, we would get the fights that we wanted to see when we wanted to see them. But unfortunately, they haven't, they don't, and it seems like they won't. Unfortunately. Let me get back to the chats in 1 second. I'll read what y'all wrote. I just got to make sure I'm near no traffic, so when I swerve these lanes and I don't have my blinker on, I don't get hit. um, Let me see. You get called out, they fight. Yeah, you talk about back in the day, rubbing it in, Tony's reviews. I got the jury way out on old Jake the Snake. Was Jake Paul in the Marshalls vs. Shields promotion? No, he was not. But here's the problem. Here's what you got to understand, Ronald. No, he was not involved in that fight. However, precedence is what you need. You need a measuring stick. You need something to say that this could be successful. When other promotional companies saw that Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, was successful, because that was the main event. Jake Paul was not the main event. He was just fighting last. But when they saw that that fight was as successful as it was and had as many people watching it as it did, they rolled the dice, they gambled on the Shields Marshall card for women to be the main event, co-main event. So yes, because of Jake Paul, fights like that happened that probably never would have, because they would have never invested that type of money on a gamble that they were unsure of. They knew it would sell. Let me see, no doubt Jake getting Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano was a significant boost for women's boxing. PBC haven't had a woman fight in 3 years. I did not know that. The day, Tony, the day, no doubt, 100. But yeah, so again, anybody who's bringing ice to the sport, I think is good for the sport. That's all I'm saying. If you bring in ice to the sport, it's good for the sport. What do they say? Good, bad, publicity is publicity, and the more you get, the better it is. The more people that talk about you, the more people that are going to come find you. And that's what he's doing. He's putting more eyes on boxing that have been on it in a very long time. This dude is outselling Canelo. So if you think a guy who's outselling Canelo and putting that many eyes in the sport is not good for the sport, then you crazy. You crazy. Whether Jake Paul truly is doing it for selfish reasons or not, it's irrelevant, because at the end of the day, it's still good for the sport because more people are watching it. I just wish we could change boxing to where the best would fight the best and them O's didn't fucking matter. I wish we had undefeated fighters fighting undefeated fighters all the time. There's a reason why back in the 80s, the 70s, the 90s, I skipped that. The 60s, the 50s, the 40s, the 30s, the 20s, none of them dudes was undefeated. None of them. Because if you look at the UFC or MMA in general, none of them guys are undefeated. Why? Because when you fight the best nonstop, eventually it will not be a night. Eventually somebody's going to catch you on the right night that's just as good, or maybe not just as good, but slightly worse than you, and then you lose. That's how fighting's always been. But post-Mayweather, we don't get that anymore. Everybody's got to pick the Jack Sparrow, the opportune moment to do everything. To catch good fighters when they're no longer good, when you can see they're coming down, when their career is almost over. Testing 1 2 3. If you can hear me, let me know. I dropped connection on the highway. I think I'm back. I will answer these questions. Just let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me. I see Mike gone, Tony. So hopefully it's working now. All right, cool. We back. All right, so Sweet Pea, Pernell Whitaker, very good fighter. Amazing defensive fighter. Great fighter. Very good. What else was said? Let me try to hit these comments real fast because they're stacking up on me. John Jones was DQ'd. Yeah, he was. He fought that one guy from the Ultimate Fighter. I believe he was Death. And he hit him in the back of the head while he was down or something like that and got DQ'd. I believe that was his only loss. But at the same time, though, you got to remember, yeah, John Jones was undefeated. Okay? But hear me out real fast. And I'm not shooting shots at John Jones. I'm just going to speak reality and facts. Here's the facts of the matter. When John Jones was at his pinnacle, there was no drug testing in the UFC. In fact, if regulator was in here, who I call the moderator, he'd tell you about all the UFC fighters who are on TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. It used to be a whole bunch of fighters on that shit in the UFC. And then they started doing drug testing. However, there was no drug testing whenever John Jones was at his best. After they started drug testing John Jones, what happened? He got popped for cocaine. He got popped for picograms of steroids. Well, I don't give a fuck if it's a gram, a milligram, or a picogram. If the shit's in your system, you had to have been taking it at some point in time, allegedly. That's all I'm saying. So while he may have been undefeated, think about that. But anyway, let me catch these comments. I might have to take this down because my GPS went away, and I don't know why. Let me see. One of my favorite fighters. Let's be talking about John Jones. Leave John Jones alone. He was a good. No, I'm gonna tell you right now. This is my opinion. I cannot prove it, but there's no such thing as a cokehead fighter. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Unless maybe you're Tyson Fury, then you might say cokehead. However, you gotta understand something, Ronald. Fighters that make weight, like say David Benavidez, a lot of people do coke because it causes you to lose weight easier. It helps your metabolism by a lot, so you can shed the pounds easier, so it doesn't become brutal to get on that scale. So that's why you see fighters get caught on cocaine. Not that they're out there partying, not that they're out there on their Tony Montana sniffing mountains. It's because they do it to cut weight. That's what they doing it for. But anyways, yo Charles, you need to tell like Black to go live or something, so I can sit and listen to somebody talk about boxing while I drive, because my GPS is up, and I'm gonna have to take the stream down, so I make sure I don't get lost. Unfortunately. So I appreciate y'all joining. Don't forget, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel. This stream kind of went all over the place. It's real short, real sweet. I might be back later because I'm in for a long drive. But for the moment, I'm going to take the stream back. Go live or tell Santos to go live. I'll jump over there. Somebody. Anybody. Tell any one of them to go live. I'll go listen to them while I drive. Because like I said, I got to take the live down, unfortunately, because the GPS bugged out. So again, thank y'all for joining. Y'all have a good night, and I'll be watching YouTube to see if you get anybody to go live, Charles. I'll go over there and support them. I'm out.